Bill says Kerr loves to throw shade on American mid distance. I look forward to the day that Hawker beats him. Yeah, do you see there was that quote that Kerr said he talked to like Ollie Hoare and said like they need to keep pushing the pace because if you're racing in America, they'll get soft.
Here's the thing.
So
He is not wrong. Kerr's
he's right.
1,000% correct that
Yeah,
American mid-distance runners don't push the pace. They all are like,
they don't lead.
there's been so many times there's been a race where it's like, this is it. We got all the best milers in this 1500 and they're running in
Yeah,
California. And then the winning time is 3:38 because no
yeah.
one ever wants to run the third lap. It's all
It's
there are so many times where it's a big reason why the 1500 always doesn't have a lot of people with the standard, right? We're always like going into an
yeah,
Olympic trials with like Jordan McNamara has to push the pace to try to make it a
yeah,
standard race so Will Lear can get the standard or whatever. And that's all
yeah.
happening because these athletes in the regular season, they don't try to run 335 or 334 or 333. They're like, I'm a 337 and I'm just going to keep running 337s with a 25-second last 200. And it's like,
Well,
it's great you have a good 200 at the end, but like we need to
it's
make 333 the new normal, not 338, 337.
but it's weird that it broke down that way along country lines because Kerr went to college in the U.S. Hoare went to college in the U.S. Justin Knight went to college in the U.S. Right, and that race last year at Mount Sac, I think it was Mount Sac when Hoare took off. Like Knight's the only one who goes with him. Like, why is this just an American thing? Like a lot these guys, their racing careers, their big racing careers, have primarily been in the United States against US competition, like their biggest races. But you're right. Maybe it is just the obsession with the standard, or maybe it is just they grow up thinking I have the best kick, which every miler thinks. But I'm sure if you ask Hoare and Kerr, like they're confident in their kick too. They just want to make it a 1500-meter race. Timothy Cherry's confident in his kick, I'm sure, as he should be. Ingebrigtsen, McSwain, these guys are all confident in their kick, but they want to run the whole race. They don't want it to be a jog in the beginning, or they don't want to have that second or third lap slowdown. So yeah, he is right when he says that. Like people are like, and he laughs because he's good natured about it. He likes to give a little bit of grief to them when he can, but it's 100% accurate. Like you go and you watch just even just take from the pandemic races on. If you just have a compilation video, that's all it is. Those guys are just going for it every single race. And then the rest of the field isn't reacting. Now you could say, hey, maybe they're just on another level than the American. Like they're capable of running 332 and there's fewer people in the United States who are able to do it. Okay. But over the course of time, you'd think there'd be somebody who'd at least attempt it more. I mean, you saw Colby Alexander try to go for it, almost caught Kerr at Milrose, but there needs to be more people taking shots at it. But yeah, Kerr's 100% right.
Yeah. It's kind of giving me vibes of like men's marathoning, right? The women go for it, but the men don't. The men are like
Yeah.
content with the 209, 210
Yeah.
crew. And it's like,
Yeah.
hey, I feel like you guys are talented. You guys put in all the work. You have
Mm.
the best training facilities and work ethic and nutrition, all that stuff. Start running some 207s and 206s and 205s because like 300 Japanese athletes can do it. Maybe I'm exaggerating the number, but like it's not just like, oh,
Maybe.
only East
Maybe.
Africans can run that fast. But there's a
Yeah.
lot of other people who aren't East African who can run fast marathons, and
Mm-hmm.
there's there's good old USA Americans, women who are running fast times. So it's not like an American thing either
Well,
because you just see
and
Sarah
American
Hall
women.
and
Yeah.
Kira D'Amato
Yeah.
go out there and break an American record. So
Well, going back to the 1500, American women go for it too, as well.
yeah,
So it's like weird. It's just like this weird subset of like just the American men. But if you go to college in the United States from another place, you're not impacted by this. So it's a weird thing. Maybe that'll start to shift. Yeah, I know you talked to Eric Avila about this. Was that like a year ago? As to like why they're not pushing the pace. And he admits it. It's like it takes a little bit extra. If you throw that clip up there, Alon, or throw that shot of our YouTube page up there. Yeah,
yeah,
it
just
takes.
take
It
some
says
balls.
he said take some, yeah, and yeah, there's a risk involved in it. It just seems like non-US people are way more willing to take the risk. Maybe everybody thinks they're Leo and Centro, and that's part of it
Yeah.
too. They saw Leo and Centro, but you're not. Those guys are rare. That's it.
The only
That's the
person
show.
who I feel like the American who had a chance to be that person to push the pace was people may not remember this person, Christian Serratos. Do you remember him from Montana
Yeah.
State?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yep.
And the reason why is because he was one of the first people to be like, I'm gonna beat Ches. I'm gonna go from the gun and try to beat Ches at his own game and just like
Mhm.
I'm not gonna dilly dally around the mile. Like I'm going all out. We're going 156 through the first 800. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. And that's what's gonna. I mean, and then that's what Kerr did too. Didn't Kerr try to go all out on Ches in a mile? He ran a fast mile.
Yeah. Yep.
Kerr also
Yep.
did
Yep. Yep.
some. He also jogged a mile because of the DMR. I remember he had a situation there where he like he was entered into DMR and they didn't. He knew they weren't going to win, so he ran like a 4:30 mile on the anchor leg of a DMR to save his legs for the actual mile. But that's
Yeah,
whatever.
but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about
But
within the
Kerr,
race.
yeah,
We're talking about within the race, how you're approaching the race itself. And yeah, they're just a lot more aggressive when it comes to
yeah,
racing. And they run the 1500 is the one event I would say where the style with which you pursue it has a huge impact on the outcome. Because there are people who can close really, really fast, but those people may not be able to hang with a 331, 332 pace. And then the flip side is true. 800, you pretty much know what you're going to get. There's some variations, yes. 400, 200, everything shorter than that, obviously a lot more straightforward. And everything longer, it usually has, you have the opportunity to sort out and have the cream rise to the top. But that's not the case in the 15. It's at that perfect length where a lot of tactics are in play. And now everybody, it's not as if Kerr and Hoare are on an island. They're part of a larger group now. So anybody who's not running like that is just going to get left behind, and they can still run well, but they're not going to be in the hunt for the medals just because they're going to be so far back unless you have the random tactical race pop up at the right time.
yeah. Josh Kerr was right.